It took me ages to figure that out, but genius nonetheless. Yeah, so the biggest video that I've ever featured in was not actually my video. I've never had a video which has hit 1 million views, but it is what it is, and I was very thankful for that moment. Yo, what up? It's me, and it's not early, but I did get up. I think I told you yesterday that I had been up all night, and then what tends to happen is it's bad, not good advice, but with that routine, what I tend to do is then fall asleep. I actually fell asleep with a packet of custard creams in my hand, which I woke up occasionally to eat a custard cream, which is a biscuit, cookie for the Americans. Yeah, that was interesting. And then I fell asleep again and woke up today, and it was late, so it's now 12:30ish, I think. But it's sunny, so I'm outside trying to get some sun, because that does me a lot of good. If anything does me good, it's this. Exercise is fantastic, and sun I would put like on the same level, if not higher, for me, because I used to have originally seasonal affective disorder until they realized I just fucking feel miserable all the time. But I'm out here, there's a lovely garden. I don't know if I can switch the camera. It's not gonna let me. Why not? That's weird. I thought there was an option to switch the camera. Anyway, here's the garden. Part of the garden. That's the polytunnel just there that I cleaned from the outside. I didn't clean the inside because it's for plants. Let's talk about, what were we talking about yesterday? Oh, MVCI. Like, every time I talk about these things, like some memories come back to me. So the influencers, I remember now what was a big deal was that people were calling people shills. I remember that word, shill, right? Like, oh, you're shilling this game. You're telling us that you love this game, but we think you're getting paid for it. And I think that may or may not have been the case. Not 100% sure, but certainly there were a group of people who were brought in as influencers. But I just don't think that there was a transparency about them being influencers that were promoting the game. That said, people really did enjoy the game itself, the gameplay. The rest of it was garbage. I remember Chun-Li's face being a problem. I think they might have fixed that one thing, like Chun-Li's face. I can't remember. In response to what people were saying, but like ultimately the user experience, the user interface was not great. First impressions were not great. The graphics were not great. It didn't have the X-Men. Most people didn't seem to understand that the reason for not having the X-Men was the same reason that Marvel didn't have the X-Men. They now do, but I think Sony may have owned that still at that time. So it sort of was what it was. Yeah, it was a strange time and a shame that game didn't last. I saw a comment this morning from someone saying they miss MVCI because they thought it was a good game, and they miss Cross Tekken, and they had said that both had suffered because of marketing. I think Cross Tekken was more accepted at the time, and I forget why. After a while, people went off it, and then they started fixing some gameplay elements. And I think the last version of Cross Tekken, like many of these games, turned out to be really good. I wasn't a big Cross Tekken fan, although I do remember it being a lot of fun at Evo, people playing in pairs and all that stuff, and some of the miscommunications that would happen between two people playing together. I thought that was a really fun element, for sure. Now the other thing that I was going to talk about, sorry about this, I don't look so good, do I? I definitely look like I just woke up. I got a coffee here, down here somewhere, I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to wake myself up, but got this interview tomorrow, and there's a few things that I have to do, including record a couple of videos, because tomorrow I'm going to be busy trying to figure out. I think I have to buy some clothes that make sense for that interview. I've put on a little bit of the old bit of weight, too many custard creams probably. Well, actually, too much of this instant ramen bullshit, which, by the way, is just fucking poison. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention was one of the big things that happened to me. And I remember it must have happened before this point in time, this point of the arrival of MVCI, because when I went to E3, there were a bunch of people who recognized me who didn't play fighting games, but weren't in the fighting game community. They were just journalists, people who I respected, had seen around, gaming journalists, right? They were like, "Oh, hey, you're that interview guy who does interviews for, props to you, blah, blah, blah." All these really nice things being said by these people I just didn't think would know me. And what had happened was, just previously, Gerald, Core Gaming, had released his video. I think it was called The Consequences of Decreasing the Skill Gap, or something like that. And it was all about how Street Fighter V had launched, which is that's a whole nother video, but they had launched it as this idea that anyone can beat anyone. They had Lupe Fiasco beating Daigo, I think. They were just basically saying, like, listen, anyone can... They thought the entry to purchase, or the barrier to purchase is the term that we used to use in advertising. They thought the barrier to purchase was that there was too much skill required to beat good players, and you would come into the genre and you'd get beaten down and then you'd leave. But it was more nuanced than that, and even if you made the game easier, you were still going to get beaten just by spacing and timing and all that stuff. So it was an interesting time, and Gerald had released a video about like I said, the consequences of decreasing the skill gap, and it was a really good video and it did really well, and it had loads of my clips from my interviews of professional players giving their feedback on Street Fighter V before Capcom had more control over people, because Capcom started pumping money in a way that sort of started to control people. So you either got an invite to E-League or you didn't, type of thing, and then there was various other consequences to speaking out too much about Street Fighter V. But it sort of makes sense. If you're going to make money out of Capcom, you better fall in line, just like any other job. When you're working for a company, you don't go on social media and say, "This company fucking sucks," otherwise you're going to get fired. That's just the way it works. They pay you. It is what it is. But Gerald's video, I forget how it started exactly, but I think, although Gerald may have better idea of what happened, better memory, I think I had started talking to him, and I had said to him, "Listen, if you want to use my videos, go ahead and do it." And shortly after, that video came out. So I think I had taken the initiative on that one, although I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, I didn't make the video. The video was amazing, and that was Gerald, and that's what he does, is he makes amazing videos for the fighting game community. But the beauty of it, which I had never foreseen, but had an inkling, was I featured in a video which was the largest video I've ever been featured in, and it wasn't my video. It got millions and millions of views, but it wasn't my video. But it was like, oh, there's the guy who does the interviews, because I had given Gerald permission to take from my videos, and he did, and it was good. It was really good for me. So in terms of like people who helped me along the way, like Gerald was one of them, and always like really supportive. And Gerald's just that type of guy. At least that was my experience of him. And it took me forever to realize that Core Gaming was a play on the word Korea Gaming. It took me ages to figure that out, but genius nonetheless. Yeah, so the biggest video that I've ever featured in was not actually my video. I've never had a video which has hit 1 million views, but it is what it is, and I was very thankful for that moment. I'm having flashbacks now from somebody else talking about this. I can't remember who. Anyway, I think that's kind of all I really wanted to say about that stuff for the moment. So I can get a video out today, and then I'm going to record a video very soon, although my battery's running out, for tomorrow, because I'll be busy tomorrow anyway. So anyway, guys, nice sunny day, trying to get some sun. Peace out to the next video. Love you all. Bye.